All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the solution video for Puzzle of Puzzles 2. This was the one from December. So yeah, let's get into it. The first level was this series of gears. So let's look at that. So we had these gears and it said how many times do you need to rotate gear A to make all the gears point up again? So the first thing that we really have to do is count the teeth on every single gear, and this one I believe has 30 and this one has 12. This one 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16, and this one has 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And I think the last one has 30. So we know that for all of these gears, when we turn in multiples of their number of teeth, they will be pointed up again. So for example, for gear A, if we turn it 30 clicks, if we turn it 30 clicks, it'll be pointed up again. If we turn it 60 clicks, so 30 more clicks, pointed up again. 90, 120, so on and so forth. So what we really got to do is start labeling all the multiples of the teeth for all of these gears. That's kind of the first step. And we can first analyze the first and second gear in this pattern. So for 12, we know that it'll be pointed up at 12, 24, 36, and so on. So, 24. So, we know that because these gears will be pointed up when there's a multiple of the number of teeth, we know that if we find two similar values, then both the gears will be pointed up at the same time. So just think about this. If we do one click, click one, then this gear will be here, this gear will be here. And so think about if we do 30, this gear will be going around almost pointed up again. Remember, it's pointing up at 36, so it'll be 6 short of pointing up, so down here. So we have to find the lowest common multiple between these two gears to determine when they'd be pointed up. And this happens to be 60 clicks, or not rotations, but yeah, 60 teeth, essentially. So that would be 2 turns for gear A, 2 turns for gear A and 5 turns of gear 12. That would result in both of these pointed up. Now, if we take that same idea and start to apply that for the rest of these gears, we actually can find the first multiple that matches for all of these gears. I'll just put ... and 24. 24 would be 24, 48. And what comes after that? 64? No. I can't think right now. 24 plus 48. Oh my gosh. 72. Yeah. It's late. And ... and then same thing for, I totally forgot this one. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That would be this. Anyways, I think you get the idea. So if we do that and we look at all the multiples, we actually will find that the first common multiple for all of these is 240. So after all of these gears rotate by 240 clicks, they will all be pointed up again. Now, the first gear will have turned 240 divided by 30 teeth, and that gives you 8. So that's the solution to this level. But if you're curious about the other ones, you can do the math. 240 divided by 12, 240 divided by 16, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's the solution for the first one. It was 8 turns for gear A to make all the gears point up again. All right, let's check out the second puzzle in the series of 4 puzzles, and it was this for loop. And let me just move this. So it said the first thing you need to do is generate a list of numbers using this for loop, which is really a nested double for loop. And let me grab some of the text from here, put it here. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, so the first time we go through this outer for loop, I will be set to 1. So I equals 1. Let's make that smaller. Then we will begin the inner for loop, and J will be 3. I think that's pretty obvious. Now, the second iteration is where the trick really comes in. We will loop through all the values of J before we go back to the outer for loop and increment and go through this list. So while I is still 1, we will have J set to 3, 6, 9, 12. So I will be 1 again, and J will be 6. Then I will be 1 again, J will be 9. I will be 1 again, and J will be 12. Then I will be 2, J will be back to 3 again, so on and so forth. So I equal 2, J equals 6, I equal 2, J equal 9, etc., etc. So those are the values of I and J in this loop. And then to get the number, we just need to multiply them. So 1 times 3 is, of course, 3. 1 times 6, 6. 9, 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 9, 18. So on and so forth. And I think we actually will need one more to get the final solution. I equals 2, J equals 12. Cool. And then that would be 24. So we have our list. This is what would be printed out. Of course, it would go on, right? It would go all the way through until I was 5 and J was 12. So then we said grab the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 8th printed numbers, which of course those series of numbers comes from the Fibonacci sequence, our favorite sequence of numbers. And this series of numbers is what unlocked the door. So first, second, so 6, 9, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 9, 6, 2, 4 was the final solution to that one. So that was the code that unlocked the door into the office. All right, let's get ready to check out level 3. Okay, level 3. I have a confession to make. I don't think this puzzle is solvable. We'll get into it, but there was a crucial detail that I did not include, which is the radius or the size of this gear and the size of the final gear. So let's look at why it was unsolvable and maybe see if we had some values how we would solve it. So it says if you pull the string down 6 inches, how far will the present move? So what we can do is, using the number of teeth, just like we did on this puzzle, we can determine the gear ratio to get some information about how many times will this gear turn, depending on how many times this gear turns. So with the gear system, it really comes down to revolutions. So if this gear turns once, we would be able to tell how many times this gear would turn using the number of teeth. The thing is, I said if you pull the string down 6 inches. Now, pulling this string down 6 inches is the number of revolutions it would take to do that is largely dependent on this radius. So there was a crucial detail missing. So let's just pretend for this case, and I'm doing this on the fly, so we'll see how this looks. We'll say if you pull the string down to make the gear rotate once, how many times will the last gear rotate? Kind of lame, but it's what we'll do for now. So we again can count all the teeth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And let me grab some text. And I will really quickly count all these teeth and edit this video, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. It is 12, 6, 8, 9, 9, 9. So what we have to do is really figure out the gear ratio from this first gear, the driver, that's typically called, I think, to the output gear. So we know from a previous video that we can basically take the gear ratio from here to here, here to here, here to here, and so on and so forth, and get all the way down. So what we can end up doing is something like this. We have 12 divided by 6. That would be this first gear ratio. And then the second one would be 6 over 8. That would be the gear ratio from this one to this one. And then 8 to 9, 9 to 9, so on and so forth, which of course those don't really matter because it's all 1-to-1 gear ratio. So we'll just do one of them for now. So now to get the total gear ratio, we essentially can multiply all of these together. And what you'll find is that this 6 will get canceled out with this 6 because, right, it's 12 over 6, 6 on top, so cancel, cancel. The 8s will cancel, this 9 and this 9 will cancel. And so really what we end up with is a gear ratio of 12 to 9. So in these systems where there is essentially one gear at each stage, the ratio is just the first gear to the last gear. There are much more complicated gearing systems, and I won't try to do it right now, where you would have 2 gears essentially attached to the same rotation, and they would have different teeth. And so the gear ratio calculation for that gets a lot more complicated. But this is a very simple system, and the overall gear ratio would be 12 to 9. And so if we rotated this gear once, this gear would rotate essentially 1 times 12 divided by 9, which is, open my calculator, 1.333333, repeating, of course. Leroy Jenkins, if you get that reference. If not, ignore it. All right. So that's the partial solution to this problem. Again, I apologize that I made this impossible. If we did have the radius, we could then use the number of rotations with the radius to determine how many like linear feet or inches or whatever units this moved and the present moved. All right, let's go check out the last puzzle. All right, time to look at the last puzzle for this Puzzle of Puzzles challenge. And this one is personally my favorite. I actually work as a machine engineer, so this is near and dear to my heart, decision trees. So yeah, really fun, really exciting. So We had Santa's secret decision tree that allowed us to predict whether a child would be naughty or a child would be nice. And you had to determine from these three kids, would they be nice and would they be naughty based on these features. These are called features. All right, so let's look at Ella. Ella says yes to please and thank you. So we go left on this tree. She completed 60 chores. So completed chores less than 52. That would be no. So she is deemed nice. Liam, he does not say please or thank you. Come on, Liam. Did he make Christmas cookies? He did, yes. And he helped someone in need. So Liam, barely in the nice category. Sophie says please and thank you. Did not do many chores, averaged less than one a week this year. And she did not help anyone in need. Uh-oh. Sophie has been determined to be naughty. All right, pretty simple one, but I think eventually someday we might have some more complicated decision tree related topics, so stick around for that. Hopefully you enjoyed all these puzzles. Yeah, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Go figure.